Okay, that's probably Alex watching. Uh, Welcome to the
Alex.
Potaboy Show. Say hi to Alex. I think that's Alex. Who we got watching in here? What's up, everybody? I'm Kilo Delta 8, Lima Hotel Radio, Potaboy, doing an interview today with Drew up there in Long Island, New York, November 2, Alpha Kilo Juliet. And he's also an activator for Parks on the Air. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Drew.
Hi, I'm Drew, N2AKJ. I'm an avid POTA activator, and I'm here in Long Island, New York, presently in Farmingdale, Long Island.
How far is Farmingdale from where you actually you're
Uh, Give or take, probably about 8 miles, maybe.
okay, so you're not that far out. Uh just so we know, what are you doing right now? I find that kind of interesting actually. Well, where you at? Where you at in Farmingdale? What are you doing right now?
Right now, I'm sitting in the back of runway 19 at KFRG. If you're not a pilot, KFRG is the identification of the airport, but it's to put it in layman's terms, it's
Hey
Republic.
Bill.
It's Republic Airport.
Okay. You just checking
And
planes out as they take off and land and everything.
yep, right now I'm looking at a Gulfstream, which is holding short, waiting for inbound traffic to land on the runway before they proceed to taxi out. Beautiful plane, by the way. Actually, it's
Right
big.
on.
Looks like it's a 5 or 6 seater,
We got
maybe.
okay. We got Bill in the audience right now checking us out there. Hey Bill.
Sweet. What's up, Bill?
That's Bill number one. I'm in the shack today, and I am going to be going out to the park here probably about a half hour after we're finished here. This
Cool.
shouldn't. These usually don't take that long unless we sit here and shoot the gab.
Rag shoe. The rag shoe.
Brag you. That's we're both amateur radio operators, and we're both parks on the air activators avidly. Um, Myself, I've been activating parks for just a few months. Actively going every day or every other day. I live stream all my activations, and so does Drew. He has a YouTube channel as well, and that's just go to YouTube and search Alpha Kilo Juliet, and you'll find his and subscribe as well. Uh, we enjoy doing this. It's a fun hobby. And first question I got for you in this little interview, Drew, is how long have you been into the radio hobby altogether?
Uh, as we speak, probably about 35 years now. At least 35 years.
111 meters.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, by the way, you're popping in and out, but yes, I'm getting the gist of what you're saying. Uh,
That's fine.
let's see. I got into CB when I was, I don't know, 9, 10, around there. Um, I didn't have my first rig though till I was like 13. I used to play around with those Fisher Price walkie-talkies when I was young. That's the only thing that my parents would buy me. And it's, believe it or not, it was those Fisher Price walkie-talkies that really got me interested in radio communication. I thought they were so freaking cool, and I was like, yo, I got to get into this. And when I was old enough, I asked for a CB, and my dad said, well, I don't know what you want, so just pick out what you want, and I'll buy it for you. So, of course, daddy's buying. I'm getting the best of everything. So, oh, yeah, I went out. I got a 40 amp power supply. I got a Uniden Grant XL, peaked and modified. I got an Antron 99, 10, 11 meter antenna. Got the mass pole, the Eve mount, the LMR 400. I went all out. And I did that. I don't know. I did that. I did CB for probably maybe 3 or 4 years. And for some reason, I don't know. I guess I started hanging out with the wrong crowd. So then I was out of it for a while. And then what got me back into radio, which sparked my interest, was I have a friend who I worked with in the town where I lived at the time. I was a maintenance worker, and he pulls up in his car, and I see all these antennas all over his car, and I'm like, wow, that's cool. I wonder what the hell he's got in there. So I asked him, I said, what are all those antennas? He goes, oh, those are my ham radio antennas. And then I saw his license plate with his call sign on it, like I have on my car, and I said, what's that license plate all about? He goes, well, that's my call sign. He goes, when you get your license, the FCC gives you a call sign. So I was like, all right, cool. And I go, that's something I would probably be into. He goes, yeah, go to Radio Shack. And at the time, Radio Shack was around. Get the book called Now You're Talking. I said, all right. So I got the book, studied it. I failed it the first time. I guess I didn't study it enough. And then I passed it on the second time. And when I passed it and got my license, that's when the FCC just dropped the code requirement. And I swore up and down to high heaven. F the code. I have no interest in it. Who cares about dits and das and the hell with that? And now look, now I'm a Morse code activator along with SSB. I'm a Morse code instructor. I'm in the Long Island. Well, I'm in many clubs. I'm in the LACW club. I'm in the SKCC. I'm in the NAQCC. Now, NAQCC is the North American QRP Club. I'm a member of that club, but I've not been active or participated in any of their events. The SKCC, I have tried the weekend sprintathon. So every now and then they have what they call the WES, the weekend sprintathon. And it's not really a contest to see how many contacts you make. It's more or less, you can make contacts with other SKCC members, and then you put it in a specific logging program created by the SKCC. And when you get 100 contacts in the beginning, you get what they call a centurion. And then if you get your next level, you go to tribune. And then if you go to your next level, you become a senator. And then you got the triple key award. You could do a marathon, and basically all these clubs, they try to get you to enjoy the hobby, enjoy CW, and get better at CW. So the club that I'm the most active in, more than anything, is the LACW club. We have right now over 7,000 members. We have 158 classes a week, 10 of which are for the kids. The 148 are for the adults. We have every fashion of class you can imagine, from beginners 1 and 2 to intermediate 1, 2, and 3 to QRQ. Now, QRQ means high-speed telegraphy. Those guys go anywhere between 40 to 60 words a minute. I could copy short exchanges comfortably at around 40. Rag chewing, I'm probably at about 13 to 14. But very short exchanges or in contests, I can go high speed. It's not even a problem. But
So it's
that's
more difficult to do rag chewing
at a high
to
speed.
copy rag chewing at a high speed. Okay,
It
that's
is,
I
but if you practice doing it repetitiously, and you don't do it once a week or twice a week, if you do it 4 times a week, and you practice with a code buddy, you eventually will get it. But when you start going higher, there's a big difference between instant character recognition and pattern recognition. Instant character recognition, you're good up to about 20, 23 words a minute, you could basically do ICR, as they call it. When you start getting higher up, the words that you would copy as instant character recognition, now you got to hear it as a pattern because it's going so fast. You can't hear a character anymore. Now you got to hear the pattern of the word. So it's something that definitely has to be practiced. It's not something that just you're going to get right off the rip. And CW is a whole different language. And if you're a musician, it's easier to copy and easier to learn if you're a musician. Like I play drums. So when I started learning the CW, it felt more natural to me. I was able to learn it in a faster pace than most people that enter the club. I learned it in 4 months, and then I got on the air. I mean, of course, my first QSO went to hell in a handbasket real fast, but I after a while, I got the hang of it. So, I mean, if you're a musician, you will learn the code a lot quicker. And the guitarists, they're the ones that learn it the fastest, especially musicians that play string instruments. They learn it a lot quicker. I don't know how. I don't know the theory behind it, but
Why is that?
I don't know. I
No,
never really
okay.
researched it, but a lot of the instructors say if you play guitar, you'll pick it up quicker than the average musician. Why? I have no idea.
That is interesting. That's. I wonder why that is.
Yeah,
It's going to have to be researched.
yeah, absolutely.
Um. So when did you get into like doing activations, parts on the air?
My first activation, as far as CW is concerned, was on September 29th, 2022. But prior to that, I was doing phone activations.
Okay.
I'd have to look back in my logs to see when I did my first ever activation. I got so many. I got pages and pages and pages on my logging program. But I would have to say, probably I've probably been doing it. I don't know, about a good 5 or 6 years now, at least. And I've been doing CW for 3 years now.
Okay. So when you're live, you're acting. You do phone, and you've said it several times on your stream. So if anybody knows N2AKJ and they've watched his stream, a percentage of people don't know CW, and then you do CW, which is it's a cool move. Away CW, I have attempted it. I do register some dits and das, but not like you by far. Um, I was practicing there for a little bit to where I could do just my name, my call sign, anyways, not my name.
Yeah, your name is very easy. Your name is so easy to send. Oh my God, is it so easy to send? It's so easy to send.
Actual name, Roger, or my call sign.
No, well, both. Both are easy to send. But if you're gonna learn CW as an instructor in the club, what I tell all my students is try practicing sending your name and sending your call sign so you could recognize what it sounds like when somebody sends it to you. Like I hear it all the time when I'm doing an activation. Not everybody does it, but some people come back to me and they're like, "Good afternoon, Drew." I hear it right away. I hear my name right off the rip. It's easily recognizable because when I was learning Morse code, I practiced sending my call and my name, and then I would record it while I was
Right.
doing it, so I could hear what it sounds like coming back to me. So when I get on the air, I would know what to recognize. Like my name in
Oh,
Morse
yeah.
code is da da
Not a
da
bad
da
idea.
da 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 da. The letter D is da da dit. The R is didadit. E is dit. E is the easiest letter in the entire language of CW. It's just one dit. And then the W, which is didada. So when I hear da 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 da, I was like, okay, they're saying good afternoon, Drew, because I hear it. I don't hear it as dits and das. I hear it as letters and words. Like if you and me are talking right now, that's how I hear it in my head. Now, when I was learning it, I was counting like crazy. I was so bad. I was counting everything, and it would screw me up. And that's a lot of the problems people get when they're learning Morse code, and we all do it. Anybody who's learned Morse code can't tell me they didn't start counting. And it's a rabbit hole that we all fall into, but you got to be able to recognize it early and get out of that rabbit hole, because the more you count, you're going to get a more of a habit of doing that, and it's going to hold you back from progressing and getting better. You don't want to count. You want to hear the code as an acoustical sound. So the letter A is dida. You don't want to hear it as dit da. You want to hear it as dida. Because if I go dit da, now I said et instead of the letter A. So spacing and character and element formation is extremely, extremely important, because you could screw up somebody's call sign. If they're sending slow enough and your brain isn't trained to hear the character, you're gonna be hearing different letters than what you should be hearing. But that's why we have the LICW Club, we
Right.
have CW Ops, we have CW Academy. But LICW Club, we did a lot of research. Mike, November 1, Charlie, he investigated and did a lot of research and rewrote everything for the club. And the club only started with 3 members.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're over 7,000 members worldwide. And we just recently started classes in
That's nice.
We recently started classes in Portuguese, Spanish. So now we have multilingual classes now to accommodate everybody, and
Oh, cool.
we have highly talented instructors. I teach ascending class, so the whole purpose of my class
That's
is,
cool.
after you learn all your characters, all your letters, all your abbreviations and pro signs, now what do you do with them? How do you utilize them? That's where my class comes in. I show you how to take everything you just learned in the 2 previous classes and put them together, and how to properly send them and space them.
Right on. Well, when you're doing an activation, uh, it, is New York the only place that you've ever activated in? There's a
Uh,
question for you.
no, I've activated one park a couple of times in New Jersey, and that was Palisades
Okay.
Interstate Park, United States 8319. And here's the funny thing about that park: there's multiple parks along the Palisades Parkway in New Jersey, and they all fall under the same number. So you have Alpine Lookout, State Line Lookout. I forgot what the other ones are, but they all fall under US 8319. So when it comes up on a POTA page, it's not going to say State Line Lookout or Alpine Lookout. It's just gonna say Palisades Interstate Park. That's all it's going to say on a POTA page, because there's multiple parks.
So there's multiple parks within one park, and they're all state ran.
Yeah, by
But
the state of New Jersey. Yeah,
and there's where the problem is, because they all come under the same park number.
yeah, exactly.
You don't get to use that as a two for three for whatever.
No, not at all.
Yeah, that blows. Because that's one of the things us activators and hunters as well like to find is the multi parks. I
Yep,
love getting multi parks. Matter of fact, our moderator in the chat here, Bill, he does 3 parks at a
he
time.
has.
Him
Yeah,
and his partner. Yeah, they do 3 parks at a time, and that's
yeah,
awesome. I got two
he's got a
spots up
lot
here
of
where I can do
contacts.
2 multis. Oh yeah, oh yeah. How many
Oh my God,
contacts do you think you got?
I looked up his
Good
stats when I
afternoon,
was
Bill.
uploading my log one day. I was looking at his stats. Man, he's got a ton. Man, I've never seen so many contacts, and I've been doing this years, and I don't have as much as he does. But I have. I don't know how. I didn't look at how many activations he's done, but I've done, I think, 307 activations so far.
I can look right now. I control Bill on the POTA app here.
Hey,
Oh
Bill
no,
number
this
two,
there we
what's
go.
up? Wow, 20,000. Damn.
20,000. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's
So
insane. Yeah.
that is, as I sit here, I'll bring up the stats here. Oh yeah, oh yeah. He's got 19,886.
Wow.
That's crazy. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's insane. I have 307
That's awesome.
activations.
Let me see. I'll troll you. Let me troll you real quick.
A baseball, a basketball, a football. What are you throwing me?
Troll, not throw. Troll. I troll you. I'm
Oh,
not from New York. You're the New Yorker, so you got to throw something over there. You're
exactly.
actually, as a hunter, you're at 1,816. As an activator, you're at 12,041. So you're rocking pretty good yourself. I'm not. I'm not near that. I'm not near that.
Wow.
And I'm only at 1879 as a hunter, and only at for an activator 5,523.
Oh,
And I
wow. But
go
you're
out
still doing
often.
good.
Oh yeah, I think I'm still doing good in my opinion, anyways.
Yeah, I
But
don't like the reason why I don't like doing two furs and three furs is you got to triplicate the log, you got to duplicate the log. I don't.
mhm.
I did a 10 park rove, and my after I got done logging all the contacts, my head felt like somebody put a vice grip on it. I was like, I said, never again am I doing a two
Wow.
for a three for. Yeah. Now there's a park that my buddy does, November 2 Echo Charlie. He's in Alexandria, Virginia, and he works in D.C. right by the White House. There's a park over there that is a 7 fur. It's 7
Yeah,
parks. That's insane. That's nuts.
that is.
I oh my God,
Richard,
I wouldn't want to be logging those contacts.
I just Bill put in there. Richard will be 50 in a year. In 1 year,
God bless.
he seems older. He's young actually, 50. But no, he's at 48,070. That's amazing.
Wow.
And I'm sure there's more people out there, and we love to troll as we see there. But that's just amazing.
I
You
thought he was
know,
talking about his age when he
there's
said,
constantly people out doing this. I did too at first.
because I'm 50 and I'm going to be 50. Matter of fact, I'm going to be 51 this April, the 28th.
I'm
I'm going to
51.
I'm going to be 51 going on 151
Yeah, tell
because
me about it. Me too.
oh my God, I feel like I've been through a war and back. But
Have you ever done a rove?
yeah, I did a 5 park and I did a 10 park. The 5 park was fairly easy. Man, the 10 park, I was cutting it close because what people don't seem to realize, they're like, oh, cool, they're doing a rove. But you don't get the credit for that 10 park rove if you don't do it all in one UTC day. So it's basically you go to the park, make 10 contacts, fly to the next one, make 10 contacts, fly to the next one, make 10 contacts. Because I'm the type of activator, and you know as well. I mean, you've seen me. I'll get to the park at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I won't leave till 4 in the evening. So I'll be there
Right.
all day long. So if I'm doing a
And you're
rove,
doing
I
a
have
road.
to
You
get
can't
that
beat.
mentality. I have to get the mentality in my head, dude. You can't stay here all day. Get 10 and go, 10 and go, 10 and go. Because you got to
10,
remember,
20 go.
it's
Yeah.
setup, breakdown, setup, breakdown. Now you got to take the time that it is from where you are going all the way home. Then you got to lug all your crap from the car into the house, put everything away, get the laptop out. Now start transferring everything from the paper log into the computer in your logging program. Then you got to upload to POTA, and hopefully the POTA app doesn't say pending like it does every now and then. Hopefully it logs it right away for you
Right.
when you upload it. So you're on a time
Now there's
constraint,
there's there's another difference between you and I. I log digitally. You log
Yeah,
paper log. I
I'm old
can't
school.
sit there and take the time when I get home to type all that stuff in. I'll get so frustrated. And I do have, I do it the same way you do. Raw dog. We just raw dog it. We get out there, we live stream, we raw dog it. You see what we do, 100%.
Yeah,
We make a
absolutely.
mistake if we're in there and we, make a mistake on somebody's call sign, and you're having a hard time hearing. Sometimes you get QRM, QRN, and it gets rough, to be able to pull them call signs out. Me myself, my radio sits on my right hand side on my passenger seat, unless it's a nice day out and I'm out at the table. Last couple of days I've had one table day, and today's actually going to be a table day, and I'm going to bring my 818 kit with me, and I'm going to throw the NFED up in the air and use the NFED. Uh, but like when you're trying to pull somebody out, and I'm partially deaf in this ear, so it's hard for me to hear them a lot of times.
Wow.
So you know, it, and I got to sit there. You'll see me in my streams. I'll lean way over, and listen to the radio, and I got my radio cranked almost all the way up,
Yeah, I do the same
so that
thing.
I can hear it. Yeah, it's, and you also want your viewers to be able to hear the radio as well. So, there's
Absolutely.
some different things that us as content creators with Parks on the Air that we have to do to make it interesting for you guys that are watching us and make it work for us. Uh, you just actually, when I first started watching you, you were bam, 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 just knock them out. Thank you, 7 threes. Thank you, 7 threes. And you and I have talked, and me myself, when I'm doing the activation, I could do the thank you 7 threes and get 100, 200 contacts in just a few hours or whatever. But I like to do this
You and me
and do
both.
this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll have a conversation with the people making the contact with. I'll have a little conversation with them, and sometimes it can last for a minute. And but it's
Yeah,
fun. You enjoy it,
and
correct?
yeah, I enjoy it. But the thing that is, that happens a lot is when you start, you hear somebody that may not know them personally, but you've worked them so many times that they become your friend, and you want to talk. And what you ultimately end up doing by doing that is you end up losing your pileup because people are like,
Yes.
F this. I'm not waiting in line until they're done talking so I can get a contact, and they move on. So I have to
Right.
always have that in the back of my head. If you have a rag shoe with this guy, you're going to lose your pileup. So it's not that I'm trying to be rude
Exactly.
to my friends, but at the same time, I want that pileup to keep coming because I want to make as many contacts as I can. And it's the same thing
Right.
for CW. And like in CW is a whole different world than SSB. Like in you don't have to worry about with SSB somebody if they zero beat your frequency, that's fine because you're doing voice. But with CW, it can't it tends to be a pain in the neck when people zero beat my frequency because zero beating means that everybody is on the same exact frequency you're on. Now, if you hear me having a pileup and you're trying to work me, if you're zero beating my frequency, I may not hear you. But if you go 1 kc up or 1 kc below, now the tone of your signal is going to be totally different than everybody else's. And I'm going to be able to pull you out like that. And sometimes when I spot myself, I'll say, please don't zero beat. But even when I do that, nobody listens because everybody's so acclimated to tuning into the exact frequency that the person's
Amazing.
on. Yeah, they don't realize.
They want to
And
make
you'll
that
know,
contact. They
yeah, and you'll notice. You'll notice if you watch enough of my streams, you'll hear me doing did it da da did it, did it da da did it. That's a question mark. So I'll get somebody's suffix, not suffix, the prefix, and I won't get their suffix. So like there's this guy, Whiskey Alpha 2 Sierra Papa Lima. His fist is okay. It's not 100%, but it's okay. But sometimes I guess we all have good days and bad days. Some days he just doesn't send all that great. And I'll hear WA2S and I don't get the PL. So I'm like, WA mark. So I'm basically saying, okay, I got the WA2S, but I didn't get the rest of what you sent. I'm basically saying to him, can you send it again? Or sometimes I'll say AGN again. And experienced CW operators will know what I'm saying because they know their abbreviations. A lot of the newbies will have no idea. Like sometimes I'll get somebody sending the call and I won't send their call sign question mark. I'll just go Whiskey Alpha 2 and that's it. If I'm sending my call and somebody doesn't get AKJ and they just send the letter N2, if I don't hear another N2 call in there, I'll send N2AKJ because I know they're wanting me to send my call sign again, even though they didn't send my call in a question mark. I know what they're trying to say. So you always have
right.
to
Okay,
anticipate.
now
You always,
explain fist, because that's a term that you just used, and maybe I personally don't quite understand what fist is. This is a fist to me.
a fist is the style of the way the person sends their code. That's so if you ever hear the term, oh
Okay.
wow, that dude has a really good fist, that means that they send very good. Now, I'm not gonna be conceited, and I'm a straight shooter, and I'm open and honest, and I keep things 100. I would say I have an okay fist. I wouldn't say I have a great one. I wouldn't say I have a bad one. I'd say it's a decent one. I mean, I got a lot more learning to do, but I could hold my own. I could send good enough where I hold my own.
Right. And that's the whole thing about this entire hobby. You're always learning, whether it's CW digital, voice, whatever. You're always learning something. And I think it's a fun hobby. I really enjoy it. I'm glad that my Elmer got me into it. I wasn't going to get into it at first. I was had no interest in it. I didn't want to pay for a license. I didn't want to have to be regulated or anything like that. I was 11 meters and 11 meters only. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
this is cool. This is good. This is what I'm doing. And my Elmer came over with the radio one day and an antenna, and he set up in my garage where I hung out at. He set everything up. He says, check this out. And he left it there. And I just listened and listened. And I was like, wow, I've never heard not one cuss word, nobody cussing somebody out, nobody threatening to come and tear down their stuff or anything like that, like 11 meters. Didn't hear none of that. And that's what bit me to it. That's what got me interested. I'm like, this is sounds like it'd be more fun. I ain't got to watch my
yeah,
back, you know. But
yeah,
yeah, I think that everybody should get into the hobby and have fun with it. I'm
yeah,
going to have my fun here about 3:30, so I'm
yeah.
going to go
Or on
activate.
or until you, I mean, with the whole, hey,
What
what's
up,
up,
Alex?
Alex? Or unless you go, I mean, if you want to hear cursing and stuff, like you could always just tune to 7200. There's plenty of it over there.
Yeah,
7.200.
this is true.
That I call 7.200 the CB channel because that's how they talk.
Yeah.
And speaking of
Hold on
72,
1 second. Alex, thumbs up. Yes or no? Did you get it? Because obviously you're not driving no more. Go ahead, Drew.
the thing is that the rate and speed we're going, and I don't want to mention his name because the thought of his name makes me sick. If it's up to him, uh, we're gonna end up getting deregulated. He wants to
I
defund
don't
the
know. That's
FCC.
yeah. I've heard that, and they've already defunded them enough. They've already cut back on a lot of things. We need to get more. That's one thing that us POTA activators deal with a lot, myself included, uh, is the sad hams as we call them. They don't like
Mm-hmm.
us activators, but without us activators, the bands are going to go silent. You you got nets all the time. They're all over the place. Then you got the sad hams that don't like the nets, and they
Mm-hmm.
maliciously interfere with the nets. Malicious
Yep.
interference is malicious interference, regardless of where
Either
it
way,
goes, whether it's a
yeah,
net, a POTA activator, 7200, or whatever. It's all malicious if it's
yeah,
interfering with what one person or a group of people are doing.
actually, yeah,
So
yeah.
you're going to get it.
And it,
And
yeah, but they don't understand. These sad hams don't get it. If when POTA started, prior to POTA being taking place, the airwaves they were active, but they were nowhere near as active as they are now. If it wasn't for Parks
right,
on the Air, and if it wasn't for the FCC dropping the code requirement, you wouldn't have as many hams now on the air like they are. You wouldn't have the influx of new licensees coming in like crazy to get their license. You wouldn't have all the people that are interested in CW now getting involved in all of this if it wasn't for Parks on the Air or Summits on the Air or any of that
exactly,
or Beaches on the Air,
exactly,
which I think is
exactly.
pointless, but that's just me. I
Lighthouses
mean,
on the air is cool too. They got
yeah,
castles on the air, bunkers on
well,
the air. There's a lot of different activities that you can do as an amateur radio operator and have fun
yeah,
with it.
but if
It's all about what you like to do.
but if it wasn't for all of that, the airwaves wouldn't be as active as they are now. They,
Not
they
at
don't
all.
they don't
Not at
they
all.
don't seem they don't seem to realize that. They just don't get it. And then you
Yeah.
got
No, they don't.
7200. What a beautiful frequency to listen to. Oh my God. I
Yeah.
one time by
It.
accident I was tuning my radio on 40 and I'm tuning to see a clear frequency to operate on phone. And I'm passing by 7.200. I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell's going on here? So I keep it there and I'm listening to all the vulgarities and I'm like, saying to myself, where's the FCC now triangulating and trying to find these people? I mean, there's been
Yep.
instances where the enforcement bureau has went to people's houses operating illegally, taking all their equipment, locking them up, and fining them, I don't know, $30,000, $40,000. They should be doing that to 7.200. They should be doing it to those guys.
Oh yeah.
They're
Oh
making
yeah.
they're
I
making it look
agree.
bad for us.
I'm actually right now. I'm looking at the POTA app, POTA.app. Check that out. It tells you who's activating, where they're activating, what park it's they're in,
Yeah.
and 20 meters. We have 45 activators, and that's mixed between sideband and digital. So
Oh
that's cool.
wow.
Let's say congratulations to Alex real quick. He just joined the 891 club. So congratulations, Alex. Good job, brother. You're gonna love that
You're gonna
radio. You're gonna love it.
absolutely. I was just gonna say that's my primary radio that I use for POTA. Now, Alex, just to give you an insight, the manual that came with that radio is not the full manual. If you want to know all the
Mm-mm.
features of that radio, you got to download the advanced manual from the Yaesu's website because
I did. I did post him a couple videos.
a lot of the acronyms that they use for the different functions, you will find all of that in the advanced manual. It would show you the exact acronym, and it will say, okay, ZIN means this, ACX means that. But a lot of them are common sense. MON is monitor. I mean, you don't do CW, so you're not going to have to worry about braking or the keyer or the speed or the pitch. You're not going to have to worry about any of that unless you start getting involved in CW and you want to learn it and send it on the radio. It's a great radio. If we lived in the same state and we weren't that far away, let's say, I would have brought my 891 over because everybody tells me my audio is phenomenal. And we could have put each other's radios side by side and go through every menu setting and have you adjust your radio to exactly the ways mine is set up, and you would be golden. But obviously, that's not the case because there's a lot of different
I
settings for
did
that
send her
radio.
videos
Tons.
on the ones I use.
Yeah, I mean,
I get the same comments on how good I sound.
one thing I would suggest for Alex, as far as the radio, when you turn it on, you hold the F button in until you see a whole bunch of menus come up. And you want to scroll down to where you see it says fan, because that radio has a built-in fan. It defaults at normal. You want to change the fan setting to contest, because contest, when you're keying up, when the radio gets hot, the radio will automatically increase the speed of the fan to cool it off faster. If you keep it in normal, it's just going to stay at one speed. So
Right.
I would change the fan. I would change the fan over to contest. It just all the contest means that it's increasing the speed of the fan when the radio gets hot enough. But I mean, we could
Absolutely.
talk for hours about the settings. I mean, there's so many settings in that radio, and there's a scope. Believe it or not, there's a scope on that radio, but it sucks.
It's not an active scope. But yeah, exactly. It's not. That's the only problem with it. It's not an active scope.
Yeah, it's not like the 991A
I,
where
I like
you,
active scopes.
yeah, like on the 991 that you have a colorful waterfall. It's really nice because I have that
Right.
radio also. I
Now
bought the 991.
I just picked up the Yaesu FT 150 Rasp. I love it. It's awesome.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's awesome. Rasp RAS. It's the uh,
Uh
SDX
huh.
button. If you're coming in, if you got somebody coming
Oh, wow. Yeah, you're,
in, you're getting
you're,
choppy too. We're at the end of our string here, so Drew, catch you when I go do my parks. I'm going
yeah,
to Geneva State Park here in a minute. US 1952, and I will be live streaming. Anything you got to say on the for going out with?
yeah. Like I always say on my live streams when I live stream is, don't be bashful. Don't have mic fright. If you haven't activated yet and you're thinking about doing it, of course, if you have a general class or higher license and you got all the setup and you want to go out, don't be bashful. Don't have that mic fright because you'll never get on the air. Nobody, there's no single sideband police. There's no Morse code CW police. If you do CW, we all make mistakes. And like I tell all my students in my class, if you're not making mistakes, you're not learning. And if you're the activator, remember this: you are the activator. You're in control of your activation. These people that are hunting you want you as the contact. So if they want you that bad, they'll tough it out and they'll stick through it. But don't think that they're looking at you differently. Oh my God, this guy's new. He's just getting on the air. Don't let that bother you. Just get out there in the park, set your radio up. Learn how to set your radio up if you haven't done so already. And parks on the air is supposed to be fun. And if you're not having fun, there's no reason you should be doing it if you're not going to have fun doing it. And
Absolutely.
I'm just going to plug my channel real quick if you don't mind.
So
Well, just so you guys know, I live stream all my
that's why we're here.
awesome sauce. I live stream all my activations just like Roger does, and we do everything raw dog, which means unedited. And if you want to be a subscriber, if that's something that you find yourself, you might be interested in watching the stream, you could just type my call sign into your YouTube search bar, hit the like, subscribe, and tap that notification bell. Would love to have you as a subscriber. And if you haven't subscribed to Roger's channel, do the same exact thing for him as well. Hit the like, subscribe, and tap that notification bell. And the reason why we say tap the notification bell is because when you hit the subscribe button, YouTube automatically defaults to highlights. So when you tap the bell after you hit the subscribe, it gives you the option for all notifications. So then you'll know every single time that we go live. That's why I always mention that all the time, because it automatically defaults to highlights. Thanks, Bill. I appreciate it. And this was fun. This was absolutely fun. And if you're thinking
Awesome,
about
Bill. Thank you.
if you're thinking about CW, if you haven't done so, and you might be interested in doing Morse code, and CW stands for continuous wave. That's what we say in ham radio. We call it CW. If you're starting to learn it, don't let it frustrate you. Because if you let it frustrate you, you're never going to do it. Just try to be patient. There's going to be a lot of characters and numbers that are reverse of each other, and it's going to throw you for a loop. But the more you practice, the better you'll get. I mean, I'm living proof.
Right. All right, everybody. We're going to call this one a wrap. Not as in the rap music, because neither one of us can do that very well, I'm sure of it. But we can do ham. You guys be safe out there, Potaboy. Peace, love, and the ham fam. And don't forget to check out every Wednesday and Monday night at 6 p.m. Central Time. Kilo 5, Kilo Alpha Bravo.
Absolutely.
Later. I'll catch you
Seven
on the
three.
airwaves.
Absolutely.
7:30,
7-3.
brother. Dun, dun, dun. 7 threes, everybody. Peace.